You guys know me, I've been getting pretty serious about the plans for not the North Pole. The North Pole clearly is located in the middle of the Arctic Ocean. Like, if you go to the North Pole, you're probably going like, why am I at the North Pole? Like, this is a really weird thing to do. Everyone wants to go to the North Pole, like where I have the North Pole. And does that mean that we're gonna have the colors like that? That's for cinema. Notice the way that the costumes can contrast the black and white. Like, it makes the colors pop. It makes everything just like, and then I don't know. It's almost like a drawing. My plan for the North Pole is kind of like this. Like, it's like a walking village, but I think it's like a hotel area because I think people will come stay there for an extended period of time. Like, people are gonna live at the North Pole. It's like a research place, like for like weapons, but also like whatever, like self-driving car type stuff. Clearly, it's not actually the North Pole, though. It's like a little town. And okay, so let's look at this. When we zoom in, we see the little red dots, and the red dots are actually rose quartz. Because like you can actually make it so that there's a walkable path of rose quartz, like in that way, like when it's the springtime and like the snow's melting and like you can't walk in the muddy trail. Like, you can actually walk on the rose quartz, but it looks like it's not even rose quartz because it is like a big ass mountain. See here, like you actually do have to climb the mountain of rose quartz and then go down the rose quartz in order to get to town. Like, yeah, there is a mountain of rose quartz, but is it all rose quartz? Clearly, you do not have to do all rose quartz there. Like this area is going to be artificial, and the reason it's going to be artificial is because we're going to move so much dirt out for the underground layer area that like you can build like an underground area and which isn't underground and then cover it. And that's kind of like how I see like this path right here that does have a pulley system with like almost like a garage door opener type thing. And then like I can order food from the little elf cafe, which is connected to bigger places, because I've been thinking about the indoor area and like fitting Meg inside with me. Like, I can't just have one table. Like, we do have to have like a big people area that like the little people area opens up to the big people area, which is the VIP section for Meg and I. But clearly there's an outdoor area right there, like at the very beginning, and there's something big, and then there's more big, like it's a town. I mean, you can see it, like it's a town full of rose quartz. Because I wasn't sure like why like the North Pole is like red and green, because like me, I'm one of those people who goes red and green. Like, I mean, I do think green is like a natural color like during the summertime, and I do think that red can come from the rose quartz like that is like along the path, but then the path is dirt, but then there's also a secret path that's not secret of rose quartz, but there's also like an underground area that like underneath the rose quartz that allows me to get to the elf place that like people don't even know I'm there. See, like at the bottom, like we have a bicycle down there. And that's because I might want to ride a bicycle, or Meg might want to ride a bicycle, or Rainbow Satanica might want to ride a bicycle underground to get to the other side. Because it might actually be a pretty decent distance to get to the Elf Cafe, which is probably like the coolest place to hang out, like of all. I really wasn't planning like the North Pole when this all started. I was just planning like where I wanted to live. This idea could have been something that I like naturally came up with without like adding Rainbow Satanica, but like having an indoor mansion like with a secret like entrance to the bad things room and just the tunnels is pretty cool. And having like underground stuff in general. All right. One thing, so like during the winter, like you won't be able to see the rose quartz because it'd be covered in snow, but like you have like a pretty decent restaurant, like which like could provide food for a lot of people, and restaurants do have to exhaust. And I do think that if you exhaust, you can exhaust into the rose quartz field, which is actually the path, and that way like it stays like visible, because there would be a mountain of what looks like rose quartz, but it might not actually be rose quartz, because like I actually was planning on using concrete like for like and like sticking the rose quartz like in the concrete, because like I don't want it to roll around. Like I want the path to, because the path has to be like steppable for Rainbow Satanica. I mean, she can use the underground path, but she can also like she should be able to walk on the rose quartz path as well. And that's why like I mean, we can have the path divert in two different directions in different parts, like part where like it's for her to walk up because that's the way she goes up, and then part like for like people that want to go on the side with her. Like, we don't know exactly how the rose quartz is going to work out, but we do know the town is full of rose quartz and there's a dirt path going through it. And that's why, like, it doesn't all have to be like, it just, I think it only needs to be able to, you only need to be able to make it to the restaurant. And there will be a little hut for Spikes also. So at the beginning of the town, like, that's where like you have a little hut where you can walk in and put the spikes on your feet and then walk on the snow. Because walking in the snow is not a problem. The problem is when it's muddy. And that's why you have to have like a way to walk through the rose quartz. But I feel like as long as you like can get into the Elf Cafe, like you can access most of the town through the Elf Cafe. And so that wouldn't be that difficult. Like you can, yeah, I think that's all you really need. The final question is, do we actually have to have a movable bridge, which is actually a vehicle that's like kind of like a crane that like turns into a bridge. And like, I mean, I think the reality is like no matter what, there's gonna have to be a bridge crossing a river like for construction. And I think the most likely situation is that like someone else has a property, like, and then that property is used as a base for construction on this other property, which is like a little village, which is Elfton Village. Clearly it's not the North Pole. It just has elves, and it has Santa. All right, that's pretty much the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it.